Hello! Welcome to Tuesday Time, Magnificent Week 7 Samurai. We got to reference 3 different movies at once on that one. Pretty pleased. So, this is Week 7's vocab, academic word of the week, and our idiom. Kind of hard to believe we're already up to Week 7, but there it is. Now, our words this week are argument, congruent, coincide, symphony, synthetic, relevant, dire, maladroit, lackadaisical, one of my all-time favorite words, and boorish. Now, as we get to our first slide here, congruent. Congruent is an adjective. It means to agree. Now, usually this is used in math or in geometry to discuss 2 shapes which are the same. But it can be used to describe any 2 things that agree or match with one another well. You have ideas that are congruent. You can have lines on a map that are congruent. Lots and lots of things can be congruent. Now, coincide is a verb. You may see these 2 words both start with co. Co almost always means together. It's one of those Latin prefix things. So coincide is a verb. It's to occupy the same space at the same time. Now, this can be physical space, like if we're in a room together, our time there coincides. We are in that same physical space. But it can also be in time. Right now, we are alive in the 21st century. Our lifespans coincide. Or it can even be opinions, such as here it says, everyone thinks that Dougie's class is the best. You know what? It's pretty good, though. I can't say much because Team Douglas is pretty good. Although I will say, really, I think what pushes over is that Doug Life is a sweet name. Is it better than Team Bowman? I don't know, but it is catchy. Alright, symphony. It's a noun. It's a large musical composition intended for many, many instruments. It's a harmony of sounds that work together to create something beautiful. Now, sometimes it's used non-literally, when it's not talking about a piece of music, to indicate a lot of different things working together to create something beautiful. When we're having a really good discussion in class, that kind of feels like a symphony. We all contribute different parts to it, and it's this big, beautiful thing that we have. Now, then we have synthetic. You may have noticed that these both start with SY. Those are also kind of like code. They're bringing things together, but they're combining things. They're being worked together into something else. Now, a synthetic, it can be a noun. Right now we're using it as an adjective. It describes a product or a material that's man-made and is not of the natural world. Now, again, it can be a noun. It can be used to label the man-made thing itself. If I have a piece of plastic, I can call it a synthetic. It is a synthetic, and it is synthetic as an adjective. It's not real. It's not natural. It's real, but it's not naturally derived. Relevant. Relevant is an adjective. It's concerning what is currently being discussed or dealt with. If something is relevant, it has an impact on or is somehow about what is going on. Now, often you hear about something not being relevant. That's like you bring up something that doesn't really figure into the conversation in a logical fashion, then be not relevant. If it is relevant, then it figures in a logical kind of a way. Dire. It's an adjective. It means disastrous, extremely serious, desperate even. If you had a terrible grade in class and you knew that bringing home that grade would get you in a huge trouble, you are in a dire situation. Sometimes I might say there's a dire mood. Those are kind of the words you see it next to, mood, situation, things of that nature. You would never say, you know how I feel? Dire. That just doesn't really make a lot of sense. That really wouldn't work. Lackadaisical. Oh man, I love this one. Mostly because I like to say it. It just feels good saying it. But also is really convenient. You can use it a lot. Lackadaisical is an adjective. It means to have a total lack of interest. You don't care. You do things in a lazy fashion without any effort whatsoever. So, for example, if I ask a student to write this big, giant, persuasive essay about something, but they just wrote down, sometimes, well, that'd be a very lackadaisical response. That's an extreme version of it. Students are often lackadaisical. Like, come on, guys, let's do what we're supposed to do. Everyone's just, no, maybe. And they just, stare at the desk. They didn't bring a pencil. It's all very lackadaisical behavior. It's just not, you're not invested. You don't care. Boorish is an adjective. It's unmannered, crude, and insensitive. So an example might be like James had a boorish streak in him and tended to chew with his mouth open while saying terrible, rude things. Food sprang out of his mouth and onto the poor soul he was offending as he was offending them. It's just being kind of like gross and rude. It's a manners thing. Now, you can use it as a noun and say that someone is a bore. The problem with saying that is it's pronounced the same as B-O-A-R, which means like a large male pig. So if you call someone a boar, yeah, well, you know what? It kind of works. Whichever way. You either call them a big old pig or you're saying that they're rude. So I guess, it kind of works out. All right, here we go. Oh my God. Good Lord. I can watch this all day. Maladroit. Maladroit is an adjective. Some of this may look familiar. I can't even look at the screen. Mal meaning bad. If something is adroit, it's skillful. So then, as an adjective, maladroit means clumsy, inept, and unskilled. So then when it came to dancing, he was hopelessly maladroit. He kept stepping on stage shoes. But I feel like this is inappropriate because that dude's got the moves. That is not maladroit. That is mad skills is what that is. Now, La Quinta High School Academic Word of the Week. We had argument up at the top. We also have counter-argument. So we're going to talk about both of them right here. Now, argument or counter-argument are both nouns. All right? It's a viewpoint or a statement. Let me just go about arguments. I beg your pardon. So your argument is your viewpoint and your opinion. It's how you prove something you're trying to say. All right? We have arguments in papers all the time. Your argument is that the story is about blah, blah, blah. Now, the counter-argument is how would someone attack what you are saying. It's the viewpoint or the statement in opposition to the initial argument. On the quiz, we'll be having the word argument, not the word counter-argument, but we want to knock out 2 in a row here. Now, the idiom of the week is tongue-in-cheek. This is something that is said as a joke. Sometimes when we say something that's, we say it in a tongue-in-cheek manner. We didn't really mean it. We said it and we wanted to kind of get a response from people. So the play seemed very serious at first, but then everyone saw that it was tongue-in-cheek and they began laughing. I do this in class all the time. I often say things in a fashion that is tongue-in-cheek. I don't really mean it. It sounds a little weird, but then you realize, oh, he's just kidding. And that's tongue-in-cheek. Miss Douglas, I'm sure, does this as well. We have very similar senses of humor. In fact, we both find this hilarious. Oh my God, there he goes. Oh God, he's got moves. Extra credit. If someone comes into class and does this, extra credit. All right? Even for Dougie students. I can't promise that, but I'm going to say it. If you get 2 or more people to do it, like as a team, I will double the extra credit that you get. I'm not kidding, but you got to do it and you got to like throw it down. This whole thing. And you have to do it not just one cycle, you have to do it like 3 times. All right? That would be amazing. All right, gang. That's the vocabulary for the week. I can't wait to talk to you about it. I apologize for going up late. I had some technical issues, but it should all work out. Most of you are just going to watch it the night before anyway. All right, peace out.